frustrated when I spoke to a guy here in New Hampshire who was supposedly from a free market think tank, and he was pushing on the state level, the state adoption of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative sale of their first auction of greenhouse gas emission allowances. And, and he says, oh, it's a free market alternative. I said, wait a minute, you have the audacity to tell me that the government telling companies how much they can emit, giving them allowances, is at all predicated on anything free? A freedom concept? You got a lot of gall. You know that? You got a lot of chutzpah, my man, to tell me that to my face. My dad used to say, I don't know if it was an original thing or if he just picked it up somewhere, stop spitting in my face and calling it rain. And some people have used more colorful terminology, but it's just amazing that they try to get away with this crap. And, of course, on this legislation, we should mention, were there 8 or 9 Republicans that went with this just in the last couple minutes when this thing passed Friday. And there are some lists out there. I don't have them in front of me now, but I'll see if maybe I can post them online or something. And a couple of these guys are from New Jersey. And any of these so-called Republicans who believe in freedom and everything, please think again about your party.
Well, here's the deal, Guard.
Yeah.
The administrative authority behind this whole bill was the brainchild of a Republican president. The EPA was created by Richard Nixon. And unfortunately, I can't say that there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans because they do differ on certain issues, but their overall philosophy is the same, and that is one of statism and political power. They may hide it in nice flowery rhetoric, but when stuff like that happens and when these 8 rhinos vote for some monstrosity like this, their true colors show. They're just going to do what is politically expedient.
That's right.
Will get them reelected, what they think is going to bring money, pork into their districts.
And you know what I appreciate, particularly speaking to you, Glenn, and other people in the freedom movement, is, and I know our time is short, but I just wanted to mention that when people hear us, criticizing a particular set of politicians or whatever, this is not some new thing for us that we're noticing like all of a sudden, oh, we're so frustrated and so on. What this is based on a lot of reading and a lot of scholarship from people I know, things that I've been interested in, and things that you've been interested in. This is not a sort of fly-by-night, just backhanded criticism of people. This is some solid, serious stuff. We would be open any time to someone who wanted to challenge us in a debate on real, serious argumentation. And hopefully people will get that sense when they hear what you have to say. This isn't just, I'm trying to be critical or negative or something. This is an understanding of the way human action works in free economics, and this is just getting destructive. It's really going to be terrible.
And we're going to see the socialized medicine move forward very soon.
Yeah.
And these are just huge programs, the direct cost of which is actually, I believe, minuscule compared to the damage that it's going to do to whatever remains of a market economy in this country.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, look, if I'm going to be hearing bad news, if I'm going to get investigations, obviously I want to get it from somebody like you. And I hope people will check out what you have had to say. I do think that there might be one guy who's talking about this, and maybe some of the other big guys in talk radio might as well. But I have a feeling that Glenn Beck, that his staff might have been looking some of this stuff up, and they might investigate it. I don't know. And maybe Rush Limbaugh will talk about it. And we often are very critical of the big popular talk radio hosts, but when it comes to this sort of thing, when they're the opposition party, they do try to pick things apart. But so far, I haven't been hearing anything. So, Glenn, congratulations. Great job.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for giving me a platform to talk about this.
No. My pleasure, man. And the way you do it, people don't even know the way you do it. You're in the midst of working, you're traveling, doing things for the wrestling world, and in your downtime, you're looking this information up. And I mean, what an asset, man! Awesome, really cool.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't do it for anyone but you.
All right.
Looking through hundreds of pages of vernacular that I cannot understand is very frustrating. If we have time, let me tell you a real quick story.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out when I'm looking at this thing, and it's talking about, this amend section such and such of this law to read. So I'm bouncing back and forth on the internet trying to find different laws and going through the U.S. Code. It was just insane. I read a story about from Judge Napolitano's one of his books about how he took the Patriot Act and actually took the U.S. Code and changed everything according to how the Patriot Act amended it, and he was horrified at the results of what he saw. And that's another problem with all of this, is it's so segmented, and it's not, the bill itself never reflects the complete changes on the law, that there are going to be a lot of representatives and congressmen that are going to come out and say, well, I didn't know that was in there, not only because they didn't read it, because no one can understand this stuff anyway, because it's too complex.
Yeah.
And it's written not by the congressman, but it's written by lobbyists who essentially just give it to the congressman to sign off on and then just stick it in the bills.
Oh, it's amazing. It makes me think of Downsize D.C. and how they have the Read the Bills Act. At least, I'm not in favor of government, but at least if they could get that thing passed, it would be such an impediment against this stuff. Of course, they'll try to find ways around it. They've already been saying that they're thinking about hiring speed readers to go through this stuff. I mean,
you're kidding me.
No, I'm serious. It's just, it's like a game, It's, oh man.
Yeah,
man.
it is, and yeah, it is a game, and the what's at stake is our freedoms and our liberties.
Yeah, well stated, Glenn.
This is just a horrendous piece of legislation that should have never seen the light of day in a free society. Even if it doesn't pass the Senate, just the idea that something like this passed the House of Representatives in America is truly disturbing.
Yeah, well, watch out, everybody. There's a tsunami coming. Or as they said in The Wizard of Oz, it's going to be a twister! It's going to be a twister! So get in the storm cellar. And make sure you have plenty of gold and plenty of bottled water. Oh, my God. Oh, man, if they only knew. I tell you, folks, some people are getting prepared. And, I don't want to sound alarmist, but the predators are totally loose now.
Yep.
And,
like Ayn Rand said, it's the looters and the plunderers are taking over, it seems like.
You got it. Glenn, man, thank you. Folks, remember... whatever. Oftentimes, it's funny, Glenn, you finish a conversation like, remember the website, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. But AdventuresOfCitizenX.com is your website, obviously, and I hope people will go check it out because I love the stuff that you do. And folks, if you get to read some of the writing of Glenn, you might have read his open letter to Chuck Norris, which was really cool. He's just amazing. So, Glenn, keep it up, brother, and you use your spare time so judiciously. I'm very impressed.
Okay, thanks, Guard. And if you have room in your storm cellar, I may be joining you.
All right, man. All right, I'll break out the video versions of Brazil. All right.
I gotta get something to regain